am going to call this meeting to order since my phone says 9 o'clock, even though the clock on the wall does not. And our first item of business is oath of office. Becky.
Just gonna ask you, do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of election commissioner upon which you are about to enter?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I think that was close.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now we have to fill this out. Do we need to do that now or do you want to?
Yeah, and then Becky's got her.
Oh, that's right.
You
You
that
got it.
she will fill out, and then I'll get them sent to, Lola.
Okay. Maybe before we do this, we should elect the chair.
Okay, I nominate Renee to be our chairman once again.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, nomination and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm glad you didn't have
Well,
it.
since we have so many,
We'll pick it
Uh,
up.
thanks that-
You're not gonna pass it up.
And I'll have her name for you when you're done.
Okay.
Okay.
you get a chance to look at it?
I did, that was fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can give that to. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be done with it. All right, the minutes are approved as presented. No changes or updates or anything now. We go on to new building update. Jennifer.
So they have done a lot within the week, I guess, that they've been working on everything. We expect that they'll be done with the building by the 24th, and we'll hope to have our first meeting in there for the ballot draw on the 6th. One of the things that we ended up, when we were going through what did we want and suggestions was, they built a wall all the way across the back of the big room,
Which was
to hide.
like just a storage building, right?
Yeah, and so this way it hides all of the heating unit and all of that, but it gives us extra storage space. So that when we do go to set it up, we're not having to, when the public comes in, our toners out, like
Yeah.
those kind of things that kind of will let us set it up as a true
Meeting
public
room like
building,
this.
meeting room and all of that. So,
Okay.
yeah, so, I know that as we go on, there'll be things that we'll need, and I'll work with buildings and grounds to see what's in their budget, what we might have in our budget. So I've been really stingy with our budget right now, and I've not spent, I think I've spent like $40 on something we had, because I'm like, I don't know what we'll need until we get in there, and so I want to hold on to as much as our budget as we can. We have enough tables and chairs this year for training and for meetings, but when we get into 2026, I know we'll need more tables and chairs and things like that, more shelving units and just those kind of different things that we'll need. So, but once it's all said and done, the ability for us to have our own space for meetings, for canvassing and for counting, and not having to pack up
And go somewhere.
everything, I think it's gonna be worth all the living in the construction part of it. So, yeah, so.
That's one of the things we talked about was the ceiling.
Mhm.
We do anything there?
So instead of doing a drop ceiling like this, they're gonna do the drywall, and they're painting all of it black, so we'll still see the trusses. Which I think will actually give it a really nice industrial type look to it,
A
so,
lot of places, restaurants, everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, That's right.
yeah. So, just them getting the drywall up made a huge difference
Sure.
in the look and feel of the building. It no longer feels like we're in the old recycling building. It actually feels like you could bring people in here and have a meeting.
Not be embarrassed.
Yeah, so I think once everything is said, it's gonna be really nice.
Good. Okay, any questions on that, y'all? No? I'm excited. We're gonna,
Yeah, me too.
now, do we have the sign?
So they are working on the sign. Angela talked to me about that the other day. So we haven't replaced the sign that's on there right now. Because I don't really want the public to come in the middle of a construction
sure.
zone.
Yeah.
And so, but they are working on a big sign for us, and they also have to work on an ADA entrance for us. The way I look at the building right now is, those two double doors will be the doors that will have most people come in. But we do need to have an ADA entrance just in case, and so, they've got to work on that for us as well, so, yeah.
And they'll be putting some notification on that sign out on College, right? Or is that School Street? What is it? The school, South School, okay.
I don't know, I think right now that just says South Campus. And
Oh, it
so
doesn't have the individual things on?
Not
Okay.
till you get down into the South
Okay.
Campus.
Okay.
There is a sign before you turn that says Election Commission, and it has an arrow that points to our building. But I'm hoping that the sign that Angela ordered for us, that sign shop building or sign shop sign that they had was massive. So I'm hoping that our sign ends up being that big, so it's
You can see
really
it from
easy
the
to see.
outside.
Yeah, yeah. And the nice thing, as well, that building has its own address. So when you put it in Google Maps, it takes you straight to the building.
Good.
Versus when we were in the buildings and around in the road department, it took you to the back of the building. So, you know, DoorDash has been able to find us, so that's. So we know, so yeah. So
Yay,
yeah,
we're on the map, so to speak.
For people trying to find us, they'll be able to get it very easily.
I didn't
So, yeah.
expect y'all to let them get away with not finding.
Okay, well, we'll have to have a tour here eventually.
Yeah.
All right, school election meeting dates. We need to discuss these.
Yes, these would be the ones that, make
Mhm.
sure on your calendar that,
Less than a month.
that you're available. I know. March 6th would be our ballot draw at 9 o'clock. Also discuss the polling sites, that we would have open for this election. Then March 13th would be our ballot approval. April 22nd will be our public test. That's not an EC meeting.
Yeah.
April 23rd would be an EC meeting for logic and accuracy certification. And that one should be at 9 o'clock too. And then the 13th will be election day. And then May 15th would be our provisional ballot review. And then the 23rd for this election, instead of doing a provisional ballot hearing and then the next day do a certification, because we'll have so few, we'll just do it in one meeting. But these are the dates are proposed for the school election.
On April 23rd, that's at 9.
Yes. And if I need to change any of these dates, let me know, and I can.
ASAP.
Yeah, the March 6th one is the one that I do have to put in the paper.
Oh, yeah.
Because when we do the ballot draw, we have to put notice in the paper.
So the March 6th and March 13th, we expect to be able to be in that building.
Yes.
All of these will be in that building.
Yes, that is our intention.
What does Farmington have a millage? Is that the only one?
So Farmington, Greenland, is also, they're doing a 2 mil increase. We have heard that Prairie Grove is thinking about doing a millage increase, but I don't have any paperwork back from them.
Got it, okay.
So, yeah, so we know for sure that, those will be, I've already got millages back from Elkins, Lincoln, and West Fork. Those are
Okay.
staying the same. I think if Fayetteville and Springdale were changing theirs, I think we would have,
Yeah.
we would have heard from them.
Yeah.
So really, Prairie Grove is the only one that I'm still kind of waiting on to see. So, yeah.
What's your deadline on that?
So the deadline is actually March the 3rd.
Okay.
To have that into us, for their for their millage, and I've already received the paperwork from Farmington and Greenland,
Okay,
so yeah.
might give Prairie Girl the heads up.
Will, I have been working with Prairie Grove, so yes, just.
They
so that
know
it
the
doesn't-
deadline.
Yes, so that it doesn't slip through the cracks. So,
Okay, good. And nothing else has showed up in the paper that we didn't know about.
no, but we look at the paper every day, and we in fact went on to their school board.
Oh, yeah.
meeting Just to kind of see what had been discussed and everything like that, so yeah, so. Greenland's was a surprise, I hadn't heard anything from Greenland, about them doing a millage increase, but they are doing a small one. So, yeah.
Super. All right, good. You know, we all appreciate you being on top of that, because they don't always seem to remember to let you know.
School elections are tricky, because of the differences between each year, how it plays out and the deadlines for the millage, so yeah.
Okay. Next item is precinct changes.
So we will have 2 precincts that have exceeded the 3,000 threshold of registered voters that they can have. Fayetteville 20 and Fayetteville 40. Fayetteville 20 is at 3,142 and Fayetteville 40 is at 3,075. We also have had several annexations from the cities annexing into like Springdale Township 9, some other of our like little township areas. So there's actually quite a few precinct lines that we need to clean up. So Becky has contracted with Data Scout to go through and do an overview of all of our precincts to make sure that we're, don't have any like little, I know we have some small areas that weren't pulled into anything that are like in the middle of a road. Like where there's obviously never gonna be any registered voters, but it needs to be pulled into a precinct and kind of move that line a little bit. So after the school election, we will present to the commission a list of precinct changes that we've done and that we've gone through and cleaned up. So yeah,
But that's after.
that'll be after the school election. I don't want to rush into it before, with getting everything done. And so, we will, and these won't impact the school election. In regards to the voters, they're already in the right precincts. So we know they're getting the right ballots, but that will be something that we'll do, this summer is a precinct update.
Cool. You'll have some time to do it then.
Yes, and the fact that, Becky's using Data Scout to do it, that's gonna be very helpful to get it all cleaned up. So that going into 2026, we have the best map that we can have and making sure there's some areas, especially with these annexations, that the state has the right information and we have the right information, because not every annexation is done by election. Some of the annexations that the cities have done have been because they've touched that area on 3 sides. And so, just getting all that cleaned up will be something that Becky will present to us. And as the commission, you have to sign off on the new precinct lines.
Got it.
So, yeah.
All right. With that to look forward to this summer. Legislative update, and this is big list here. Maybe it's more overwhelming or less overwhelming than it was.
It is a lot of the legislation that has been filed has to do with, petition, procedures, campaign finances, those types of things that don't really impact the election commission on a day-to-day basis or even for our poll workers. But I do like for us to just keep track of them because sometimes we do get those questions about petition process or campaign finance and different things like that. So that is one of the reasons why the list is so long. The one bill that we are wanting to see go through is the one that would remove the millage from the ballot for schools when it's unchanged. Yes. It has been on the education committee several days. It's not been heard. It's on there tomorrow. So maybe it will be. I know that we worked, Kim and I from Benton County, worked with the, Arkansas Association of Counties to kind of make some edits to it. The big one was to allow the school districts to actually appoint the election commission to vote on the millage, other than us. The school districts can either appoint a designee or the election commission. My preference obviously will be the election commission, because then I'm not coordinating with 8 school districts. Trying to get someone. So what will happen is there will still have to be a vote on the unchanged millage.
I
And
see,
we will
I see.
create- We will create a little ballot that someone will have to come in and vote on. So it's either gonna be the schools designate
Mhm.
a person to come in during the early vote or on election day, or the election commission will be the one to do that. And that was what Kim and I worked with the Association of Counties to get that added, because coordinating with the different school districts to get someone, 8 people here during early vote. I was like, there's so much other things we're doing if we can just dedicate the election commission to make that
Yeah, sure.
vote.
What's it
would be
gonna
simplest.
take to do that? The 8 different, I mean, if any one of them says, no, we want someone from our area to do that.
So then we will designate the date and time during early vote when they would come and do that. So the school districts for an off year already, have to send us a resolution saying they either want early and absentee voting only, if they don't have any, if they have just unopposed candidates, or they can do election by candidate, which is the kind of the same thing, but we're just putting it towards the village. And so we felt like, for simplicity's sake, it would be easier for the commission to actually
So
vote.
you're saying that it's in the code somewhere it has language that gives the school district the ability to designate someone to make that vote, or is
No,
that?
That's what this new bill
that's part of
will
the
do.
new bill to do it?
But here's my question, is this a constitutional?
So they're going at this in 2 ways.
Oh.
So this one, so because the millage vote is in the Constitution and says it must be voted on every year, this is a way to vote on it, but just having one person vote on, a designated person vote on it. So it's a fix for something that should really be a constitutional fix. And there is a bill that they have filed that would fix this constitutionally. But whether that would be one of the 3
That's what I'm
that they
wondering,
would
yeah, that
choose.
you do all that work and it gets kicked out at last.
Right, so this would be a solution,
Okay.
for the millage, for the unchanged millage.
What if they just don't respond to naming someone, does it then automatically fall to the commission to do it?
Yes, and that's one of the things they're working on is language for that, is that there's a deadline when someone would have to show, if that person doesn't show, then the election commission would make that vote. So, yeah.
What's the bill number? Where is it on this? list?
It is,
Put eyes on it.
one of this JR4. That's the constitutional one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I think we're all agreed this is a good bill. Having millage on the ballot every time when
Yeah.
it's not changing anything is super confusing to the voters.
Yeah.
Would it be helpful, I mean, if we passed a resolution supporting it and then you emailed all members of the committee that Washington County Election Commission supports it? I mean, we want it to pass.
So I think it has support. I don't think there's been pushback on it.
Okay,
But yes, it is SB 135.
I mean, I feel like anything helps get
Yes.
some of these over the edge.
Yeah,
SB one through
SB
five.
135.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Wait.
And it will be on the education committee tomorrow. Of course, I'll say that it's been on there every day and they just have not heard it. In that committee, Josh Bryant, sits on that committee. I know that Kim has been working with him very closely. So, and because this is a bill, that the Arkansas Association of Counties is supporting and will speak on, I know that it'll get, positive review. But definitely, our commission saying that we're in favor of it, will be a good thing.
I mean, I feel like that doesn't hurt. You guys would
Yeah.
agree, I
Yeah.
would make a resolution that we support the bill and propose that Jennifer email all members of the committee.
Yeah.
Just, send a resolution saying that we support it. I'll make a motion for that resolution.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded that we send a resolution of our support to the committee, the education committee, right? ASAP,
Yeah, yes, I do.
Yeah,
all in favor?
Some of those, I know Association of Counties is working in Benton County, but I feel like it doesn't hurt. for
Yeah.
People to see also that Washington County supports it,
I
and put it
agree.
on their radar.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Okay. Anything else in these massive bills? I'm glad I'm not a legislator that has to look at all of them.
right, there's so many, and there's so many times we'll go to listen to the committee and then they don't
Oh,
let
yeah,
us hear
yeah.
the bill
Yeah.
that we've been waiting for. And I've not seen any bills yet that the SBEC has filed that they've talked about. And so,
Have they given you any feedback on this particular bill?
not the SBEC hasn't, so basically we reached out to, the senator that filed the bill. And then that conversation went to Lindsay, who is the legal counsel at, the Arkansas Association of Counties. And so Kim and I went back and forth with her on the different things that would make the bill better. And so, yeah, they filed amendments to kind of add those things in that we talked about. So,
Okay. Good. Appreciate you staying on top of this. What else?
Like I said, a lot of the bills right now, are the
It's early.
bills that are not directly related to our poll workers or our election process, but more of petitions,
Oh,
finance.
that's right. Petitions.
Those types of things.
Is that all this stuff at the beginning?
Yeah,
So,
that's all that has recently been filed. There is one, it's kind of stalled, I haven't seen any movement on it. House Bill 1162 is on page 2, establishing Good Friday as an official state holiday. We have asked to add the Friday after Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving.
as an official state holiday, because that impacted us having to be open that Friday, for early vote after the general election. So we've got, notes on that. It's kind of been on the deferred list for a while. It's not received any movement. The other one we're tracking to is the, daylight savings time. And the only reason is because our equipment automatically has the daylight savings time clocks, kind of
Right.
adjusted for that.
Programmed in.
Yeah, so we would have to make sure that we make note of that and get that changed.
You
That's on the top.
touch base with, yes, and this about.
I have not, but
Is that word changed?
there is a setting in the express vote where you go and turn off that setting. So it's just one of those things where if this bill were to pass, we would need to make sure that when we're doing our setup for the voting equipment, that particular feature is turned off.
It's already,
Yeah,
it's already available. to
it
us.
is. HB 1070, which is, to create the ballot draw standardization act of 2025. That one would basically set, the ballot draw exactly like we do it.
Okay.
Some counties aren't doing it that
Some
way.
counties aren't doing it that way.
How are they doing it? Just however they want?
Yeah, so basically the law just says by lot.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
doesn't give any, instruction on how to do it or how
Yeah.
to set
But this
it
will
up.
standardize it.
This would make
That's great.
yes, and so this is a bill that I know Kim has been working with, but basically it mimics what we have always been doing, for the ballot draw. I don't think it's gotten any traction either. It had to be amended because at first it was only written for the, general, but we needed to go back
Sure,
and
yeah.
get it written for a primary or for a vacancy and different things like that. So it needed some amendments in it. The other one that's been filed that I haven't seen on the agenda yet is the one about the, IDs. Making, a distinction in voter IDs.
One that would be, would show that someone is, it's not citizen versus a citizen.
Yeah, so that one would be one that would impact our poll worker training, in regards to looking at IDs. So, but I haven't seen it on an agenda, yet.
But on this list,
I'm not sure if they're not. So, but that would be another one that we would watch for, poll worker training.
Yeah. Okay. Still trying to get the online voter reg.
So all of those, that HB 103536, all of those have been on the deferred list for,
Oh, have they?
Wow.
So they're still trying. to
yeah.
Figure
So-
that out.
And then I do know that, on Friday, the Clerks Association is meeting, and they're having a meeting with, Leslie, who's the Director of Elections, at the Secretary of State's office about a voter registration bill. I'm not 100% sure what that bill concerns,
Yeah.
but, I'll get information for us to be able to update.
Okay, well, they're not really, moving quickly on a lot of this stuff at this point. It's not March.
It hasn't been, no, it doesn't seem like
when is the session over?
in May typically, yeah. So. And
I do have another question.
Go ahead. Please.
How much of a problem do you see as the director, when it comes to this business of two people having to bring the
Oh, yeah.
boxes?
Oh, yeah.
So, it definitely takes the coordination on the front end
Yeah.
of us to do it. I know that, we didn't have any issues with our poll workers not having a second person to bring it in. It makes our line a little bit more congested election night because you've got two sets of cars and one set that doesn't even have
It's
anything
kind
in
of
it.
irrelevant.
It's just kind of a car that followed a car. I know that for early vote, it took a lot of coordination and a lot of our effort because we would pick up ballot boxes during early vote because
Yeah.
they get full,
Right.
and so you want to change them out, and we would have to coordinate with two people to do it at night or early in the morning. So, it took coordination to be able to do it, but we did not do it.
Do you do you want, would you want the commission to, authorize a resolution, that addresses that, to ask to have certain lines removed from the law? Get rid of that.
So I think if we, I mean, certainly it would make that part of election night a little bit more simple. We would need, if you wanted to make a legislative change, we would need to find a sponsor
Right.
who would be willing to sponsor that. And, so, I mean, certainly if, you know, if the commission wanted to kind of look to see if there's any,
I know in the past, we've gone and looked for sponsors and that type of thing, and, you know, I don't know if we've ever helped with, you know, sign or pin the law or delete whatever needs to be deleted. But, I'm not sure that's the most effective way for us to function. Not sure what is the most effective way. I mean, I like the idea that you brought up the resolution, Max. I think that we might want to consider, where we see the legislature has written a law that is already in effect that creates issues around the logistics of voting. That we might want to, at least in those areas, take a position that if I had a resolution from this group, maybe even from the Republican committee, you know, and I handed it to someone to sponsor, and I say, you've got a lot of people backing this up.
Sure,
Do you
absolutely.
know the specific part of the law? If you have it in front of you,
no, well, actually, if we were to do that, I'd also like to clean up the, provisional ballot process for us the morning of the Wednesday morning.
Have it at 9 a.m. or something.
Yeah, that part puts so much, like, if you
Right.
wanted to do kind of like a
Election procedure cleanup.
cleanup
bill.
kind of thing of
Those two
unintended
things.
consequences,
Well,
basically.
I'm wondering, since you mentioned this about changing out poll or ballot boxes when they filled, I don't think that was ever anticipated as far as something that would go on. They were just as I understand it, they were just addressing on election night. Is that correct?
They were, but I think it's all part of any transport.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
But that is, I would think, I could be wrong, I would think that's only gonna be a burden for the larger counties,
yes, it would be,
more than
well,
likely.
actually, most counties did almost 70% of their total votes cast were during early vote.
No kidding.
So even if you are a small county
Yeah.
Yeah.
that is running 2 weeks of early vote, when that ballot box gets to about 1,000, 1,500, you want to change it out, because then you run the risk of it, jamming.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of counties had to kind of coordinate, even smaller counties, the removal of early vote, ballot boxes.
So that's more of an issue for all the counties then, more than likely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess if it's a small county, they don't have a whole lot of folks on staff.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, Jim, I'd be happy to support a resolution on that if you want one. And then you can take it and run with it, just get somebody to sponsor it on your guys' side of the aisle, if that'd be helpful, certainly.
I would, I'd like for, the director to tell us. I certainly want to do one there, but if there are others, but we can do that one separately, and I would make a motion that we, provide a resolution to, be able to
Address that
present
part.
and address that issue.
Yeah, sure, I'll second.
Okay. Motion is second, or is made and seconded that do you have the law there?
that's what I'm looking at. It
Because
is,
it's only in one spot and it was only changed, what?
last year,
2
it was
years
changed in
ago.
2023, so
Okay.
it was at 329, I believe,
Okay.
is the one that it was.
So it would, and it would basically just be cleaning it up to. So it works better.
Right, so you would just be removing, you would be removing the two poll worker, requirement, but leaving all the other,
Okay,
the other part of
okay,
it.
so that's the resolution.
I add that to the resolution that's dealing with the two people required to bring the ballot box into the county location.
Actually, let me,
Uh-oh.
no. Actually, we ended up with this law. It's not just the ballot, it's not the ballot box that the law addresses, even though that was
Mm.
an intent of it. It had to do with provisional ballots. So it's provisional ballots having to be brought back by two people.
So
Well,
not the ballot
not the
boxes?
ballot box.
But that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that was, and so that
That makes
was,
less sense
sorry.
than anything. I didn't know that was the case.
But we
We talked
talked-
about it so
Yeah, we
much.
have to, because provisional ballots come back
At
with
the same time.
at the same time. So I,
But the ballots are what you care about, if you care about it. I mean, you don't have any, there's a few provisional ballots, if
So-
you really wanted security measures in place.
We're not interested in
Yeah.
that.
so it,
That makes
so-
no sense. I didn't know that's how it was actually.
yeah, it is.
Wow.
It just correlates into
Yeah.
all the stuff election night
Uh-huh.
because your provisionals come back.
Okay.
So we will need to, it's not really the ballot box we're addressing, it's the provisional ballot
Okay.
procedure that
So-
will be being addressed.
So the provisional ballots, let's go back and talk about it. The provisional ballots are gathered together in one place.
Mhm.
We've got a, what is it?
And do
Is
they
that the
go-
maroon envelope?
Do they go into something that is secured by a seal?
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
So we actually have a secure container, which that's part of the law.
Yeah.
That provisional ballots are kept separate from all the other ballots. And so those are those giant.
Oh, that's
bags.
the giant one.
Yeah.
There's a giant
Okay.
bag, which are sealable,
Right.
which the provisional ballot itself, which is inside of it, is sealed
Right.
in an envelope as well. So the way the law is written is, once the polls have closed, 2 election officials shall return the secure container of provisional ballots to the County Board of Election Commissioners with the following information marked clearly on the exterior of each secure container: the total number of ballots, the location they were collected, and those who are bringing them back. So nowhere in this law does it actually address ballot boxes. We were just equating ballot boxes with it because
Bring it all back
you have to
together.
bring it all back
Let me
together.
Let me go back, you say that the provisional ballot containers are sealable.
Yes, they are.
Do we
And
seal it?
yes, oh, yes, we do. And we record, so when we send out, so the things that come back that are sealed, the ballot box is sealed, the red bag, that the tapes and the thumb drive from the DS200, the spooled ballot bag, and the provisional bag are all sealed. We record those.
Separately.
Yes, and we actually record those seals,
Mhm.
so we know which seals go to which polling place. And then when our teams come back, we have a little spreadsheet
They
to
have
show.
to sign off, whoever breaks the seal. misses it.
Right, right.
Yeah, and we already have that mechanism set up, so yes.
So, we'll change the, resolution to speak of, Act 29, be changed.
320,
What,
Act 329, right?
to 329?
I think that's, did you
It's
say
where-
Act 329?
Yes, Act 329 of the 2023 legislative session.
329 of the 2023 legislative session to be modified to remove the language that requires 2 people to travel with the provisional ballots back to the ballot collection site. Is that close enough?
So it's a motion to amend the resolution. I'll second it.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think we
Now,
have
I,
to decide how we're going to, logistically do these, and get these, do we need to vote on these once they're finished, these resolutions?
you can email them to us and we can,
So what we'll need to do is, yes, I can create the resolutions, but then, we would need to find a sponsor.
okay, let's go back a little bit here.
But wait a minute,
Okay,
I think we might be, maybe wrong, but help me if I am, please. I don't think we
for resolution.
have to find a sponsor until we've got the resolution produced, voted on, and even voted on by our committees if we want to, which we have a meeting Tuesday night.
Right.
So, as far as finding the sponsor, I think once this thing has of our committee and maybe the, Republican and maybe the Democrat committees, I think it has more, more force behind it. If it's needed, that's true for any resolution. So I just don't want to get the horse before the cart. Because we do need a sponsor, but we need to get these things, written and approved as soon as possible. Then we can go after sponsors. I don't think we wait till we get a sponsor.
Sure.
Right.
Right, that's a good point. Okay, I want to back up just a minute. Because somebody in the legislature session thought this was important to have two people return those provisional votes, the ballot box.
So,
Do we know who that
It
was?
was one county, one person issue.
Okay,
Rather than
Yeah.
something that
yeah,
yeah,
knee-jerk reaction.
yes, it was.
is that person
Yeah.
still in the legislature?
Well, it was,
It's not a legislator that took the provisional ballots home with them from where.
Oh,
no, that, what happened was, which is normal, because we have always done this, is after the election, the county clerk has to go through all the provisional ballots to see which ones are eligible to be counted in regards to is the voter registered to vote. If the voter voted a provisional because of absentee status, what was that? What was the status of the absentee? Can it be counted? So the provisional ballots would then be handed to the county clerk, and then the county clerk would review them, and then we would receive them back. There was some miscommunication at a county on how many percent who had access to them and all of that. So this was a law written in reaction to an incident that happened. So when the law was created, this one, that's when it got into two people having to have access, to the oversight, bringing them back. So, yeah, and it had a lot of sponsors, this bill did, it had at least 20 sponsors for it, on the House side, and then it had 4 sponsors on the Senate side. So it had quite a few, but it was all part of that kind of package
oh, that's.
that
yeah.
they put together
Yeah.
for election security. This is also this part of this bill is also the part about us having to copy the front of them and then get them to Becky's office by the close of business day, all of that. That's all in this
That's
one bill.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that part could be, that particular 2 part could be amended if the, situation was explained to, I would think maybe even one of the members who sponsored that bill.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sure folks are, whoever sponsored it had all that language
They
in it.
didn't have it.
They're not,
Okay.
they probably don't even remember it,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like one part of it.
It was, oh yeah, this sounds good.
Yeah, it's just, hey, this went too far, you know, this
Yeah.
was part of a whole bunch of issues you addressed, but this is a, you know, an issue for us, went too far.
Yeah.
We're trying to clean it up.
Yeah, I can easily say, language that says, legislation was working in good faith,
Mhm,
make
mhm,
things better.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
so I need to put together a resolution removing that particular language for the commission to approve, so that the commission then can go forward to, have someone else look
And
at
I'll be glad to help.
it. Okay,
That's good, and but once we've got it, the language focused on that particular language, then we can move forward, discuss it with
Yeah.
committee, other or legislators who are serving now, maybe somebody who looked at it before.
so how quickly, which we probably should quickly,
Yeah,
have this prepared?
I would say ASAP.
Okay,
Sure like to have it sometime this week.
so what time, your Tuesday?
Tuesday, next,
Okay.
week, today is at 7 o'clock, 17.
So we do not have a meeting scheduled until March the 6th.
Right.
So we could schedule a meeting then for the commission, I mean, to,
We can, reality is, I could take it there without commission's, approval, but, it's thought it would be nice to have the commission.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is the 11th. It's a week away.
so the 17th, the courthouse is closed. But we could do it either one day this week, or we could do it on the 18th, which is before, because I can send drafts to the,
Right.
to the, commission.
Okay.
So that basically,
Yeah.
when you come in on the 18th.
Sure.
Okay.
Would we be able to meet here?
Or
I mean,
are you
meet
If we would meet, we would need to meet,
here.
yeah, or down at the road department, I'll let you know.
The
Uh,
question is just when do we want to meet between here and there? Right, are you saying on the 18th? Is the best time?
I think so, I mean, that gives us the rest of this week
Yeah.
to, the 17th is a holiday, so,
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I think I could do the 18th.
at 9,
Sure.
Sure.
okay. And I'll send out a draft so
Okay.
that,
Yeah,
we can have edits.
okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and maybe we can talk with some legislators in the meantime. Yeah, anybody you talk to?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if it would help or hurt. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying it, it's all seriousness.
Right, I understand what you're saying.
If we want to get it passed, I'm not sure if
I know.
somebody on my
I'm
side
good with this.
sponsoring it, I mean, it honestly might hurt it. Just to speak very, very.
Yeah.
Now,
You know what I mean?
on that committee, I believe Nicole, Clowney sits on state agencies, and
Is it state agencies? That's. what-
state agencies is where this will go through.
I mean, I'm happy to ask her or somebody else to be a sponsor, but for sure the main person.
Right,
Or the only
Right,
person
right,
would
right,
need to
right.
be somebody
Yeah.
on your guys' side.
But I think, if we have people on that committee who understand what it is that we're
Exactly.
asking
Yeah.
for,
Even if they're not the sponsor.
even if they're
Yes,
not
for
the
sure,
sponsor,
for
that's,
this is easily, in my opinion, a bipartisan.
Oh, sure, I don't disagree. Well, I'm happy to ask her or somebody else to sponsor if you guys want to get one or more main sponsors, or just to explain it.
That's what I was gonna say,
Hey.
just get
I'll
the
do that.
word out of what this actually entails.
Sure.
Which is
happy to do that.
relatively simple.
Yeah, for sure, I agree.
So John Carr sits on that committee. He's Benton County. Cindy Crawford sits on that committee. She is, Sebastian County.
John Carl.
John Carr is on it. And John Carr is the one who is sponsoring the ballot,
Yeah.
standard or ballot draw. One. I was just trying to see on the committee who would be a local,
Right.
person, to reach out to.
Okay. Let's work on that and we'll meet next Tuesday. Here or
I'll let
wherever.
you know if it's here or if it's down at the road department. I had us meet here for Becky, so Becky doesn't
Right,
have to
but
come down to the
we
road department.
would be able to meet in that
Yeah.
conference room.
We would be at the road
Okay.
department, and
Yeah.
that way, if for some reason there's some edit I needed to make,
Oh, you can make.
I
it
can
right
run
there.
across the
Okay.
street and do it
Okay.
easier.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. Other stuff on legislation?
No,
I feel like if anything else really gets traction, that
Yeah.
we can talk about it more specifically that.
Right, okay, all right, other business, anything? Okay,
Yeah.
we're adjourned.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Didn't think we'd be meeting